ODU hires former guard Mike Jones. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the corner? Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Check them all out today at nissanusa.com. All right, we got baseball. We got, actually, the Cajuns are in Oklahoma today playing softball. Woo-wee. And actually two teams in Houston playing baseball, and the Marshall Thundering Herd opening up their new ballpark. So we will get to that. We'll get over to all of the baseball action that's going on this weekend. But the big news yesterday, I don't think it's a shock, apparently. Former ODU guard Mike Jones has been hired to take over for the retiring Jeff Jones. Getting my ODU history correct, reading David Hall and the pilot online. Mike Jones has had a interesting career, a very prolific head coach. Started ODU from 91 to 95. Apparently was there. Scotty Jackson was there rooting him on at the time. He's been an assistant head coach at Tech and Maryland, although he did start at the high school level. You usually don't see this at the high school level. Someone who coached about 650 games or something like that. What am I adding up quickly? 630 ball games at DeMatha High. He took over for the legendary Morgan Wooten right there in the DMV, so to speak. 511 and 119. Won 81% of his ball games. And then somehow he got to that next level. We got guys here in Lafayette that, are incredibly successful head coaches. And I mean, maybe they just didn't want to be the assistant coach. I don't know, because it's tough to go from, the big time role to the person in charge to not the person in charge. I'd say there's the recruiting duties, but we're going to touch that one. And so you got Mike Jones, who that's somebody, again, ODU finds somebody, bringing them home, so to speak, kind of like what the Cajuns did with Mike Desimo, although he was already here. He was on staff, but you have somebody who played there, who grew up in the community, knows the community. And, so to use a cliche, Mike Jones became a man playing for ODU, playing basketball there and getting his career off the ground, apparently always wanting to be a head coach. A lot of these guys, let's compare who he's replacing, right? Jeff Jones became a head coach at Virginia, Power 5 Virginia, at 29. Now, he played for Virginia, assistant coach at Virginia, and kind of the logical choice to take over at the time, but still he was incredibly young. I mean, Mike Jones, does it say how old he is? We can do the math, right? Graduated in 95. So, I mean, this is, that'll be 30 years. So, almost 30 years. So he's got to be in his low 50s, right? Or almost 50? Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Something like that. High 40s, low 50s. If I'm doing my math correctly. Right. Well, a couple years, it'll be 30 years. Right. So it's almost 30 years since he graduated from ODU. So also a very quick hire. Right. They said they were going with the consultants, and the AD said we'd like to have a guy hired by mid-March. Well, apparently they're having a guy hired right at the beginning of March. And now I guess we have to find out when the official announcements come. I really haven't been paying attention. He is a coach now at Maryland. Mike Jones was associate head coach at Tech from 21 to 23 before accepting a job in an assistant at Maryland. All right. From 2002 to 2021, Jones led Maryland's storied DeMatha High. That's really impressive. Was there a playing career, I guess, in there? Mike Jones was a member of the All-Colonial Athletic Association's second team to earn CAA all-tournament honors as a senior, 16.5 points per ball game. Led the Monarchs to the NCAA tournament appearances in 92 and 95. He did play professionally. CBA, International Basketball Association, also played professionally Portugal, Hong Kong, Finland, and the Dominican Republic. Well, I mean, that's all over the place, right? Europe, Finland, Asia, and Central America. That's impressive. All right, so you got to be impressed with that. And I'm talking about meeting people from all kinds of backgrounds and having to fit in. Seems like it's a good choice. You know, off the top, it feels like they were doing their due diligence as soon as the heart attack happened, right? As soon as Mrs. Jones says, you know, I decided he was retiring December 20th. It does not feel like this search started Monday. When it leaked out on Sunday that he was retiring, and they had the announcement on Monday. So it feels like this process had already been moving along. And one thing that I learned, sometimes the tough way, interviews are not only how you get the job, but it's also, and we may have been past this point, when you're eliminating people, sometimes you say too much, you say the wrong thing. So it's easy when you first bring in, say you have a job opening and you bring in 10 people, right? Or now we can do Zoom or it's a phone call, right? Well, you can eliminate half of those, not by necessarily what they don't say, but what they do say, however your process is. So a lot of that is process by elimination, and then you're down to your 5, and then you can bring them in and stuff like that. We're already probably down to the 5. Right. I don't think we were, this was Monday's announcement to Thursday afternoon, if not Thursday morning, when this all got leaked out. So you presume it was done by Wednesday. That's 2.5 days. They had their finalists and were probably interviewing them Monday and Tuesday. And they tried to figure out a reason not to give Mike Jones a job, and they couldn't come up with one. It's almost too obvious that this guy should be the guy. Now, how long he's there for and how long he takes to, get that next job, if he wants one, who knows? I mean, again, not in this case, maybe a little bit like Dino Babers. He's a little bit of an older coach. He's not 25, he's not 35 years old, right? He has some mileage under his belt. This may be the job. We'll see. All right. Now you got to, they have to figure out all the NIL stuff and the transfer portal. But ODU, you're not in the middle of nowhere, right? That's not a bad job. They lead the conference in attendance. You could turn around a basketball program a lot quicker than you turn around a football program. We'll see. They could be in good shape here. And they are in a much better place heading into the next season, because this one's not over yet, than say Georgia State is, where they are scrambling just a little bit to get going. Right. I think Georgia State will eventually be okay, but Georgia State is scrambling after hiring their new coach, and he's doing a good job getting his assistants in. But, they're a little bit behind the 8 ball because they were supposed to be in spring practice already, and now they've delayed spring, and I'm sure they'll be okay. But, he's going to be there. Mike Jones will be there when that portal opens and, ready to go and figure things out. He's got a lot on his plate still, dealing with Maryland and their season here. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, I knew the Cajuns were in Houston. I did not realize Texas State is there. They do not play each other, but it's a nice tournament to see where you stand. We will do that when we come back. Let me tell you a little bit about Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be right around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect for city drivers and great escapes. Class exclusive Google built-in is your always updating assistant to call for almost anything. Gone are the days of connecting your phone. Google Assistant, Google Maps, Google Play Store are built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect midsize crossover for your next adventure. Also, the 2024 Nissan Pathfinder has room up to 8, an expansive cargo capacity, and advanced available 4x4 capability. With 284 horsepower and up to 6,000 pounds towing, when adventure calls, the Pathfinder is there to answer. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. And local sponsor, Lafayette Travel. Escape to Lafayette, Louisiana, the happiest city in America, where every visit is uniquely seasoned with unforgettable experiences. Savor world-class cuisine, including mouth-watering boudin, savory gumbo, and piping hot crawfish, seasoned to perfection. Experience lively festivals that celebrate Lafayette's one-of-a-kind heritage, explore magnificent trails that lead you through our rich cultural history and breathtaking natural beauty. Discover the untouched purity of our cypress and tupelo swamps, where you can pedal past nesting birds and sunbathing alligators. Immerse yourself in the vibrant rhythms of Cajun and Zydeco music that can be heard any night of the week. Whether your passion is for rich cultural history, the bustling culinary scene, or the distinctive blend of Cajun and Zydeco music, the happiest city in America has something for everyone. Start planning your adventure at LafayetteTravel.com/season. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Thanks a lot to Ben Berthelot for the Lafayette Travel sponsorship. So the same time, I believe usually is the same time that Jazz Fest is going on, we have Festival International here, and one of the big differences is that it's free. So if you're looking for a free music festival, come on in to Lafayette. It is a lot of fun. You can experience all that fun. I'll leave the sunbathing alligators to others. Go at it. All right. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Big weekend for Texas State and the Cajuns. I'm not so sure about Texas State's schedule, but I know the Cajun schedule is not all up to that. Been saying that for a little bit. They're hoping that these other teams, Rice, Tulane, some of these other teams are better than they were in the past. Wright State's not bad. You get a top 100, mid-major school. That's not bad. But they play a lot of teams midweek that last year were in the 200s. That's going to be a problem when you're trying to, qualify for an at-large berth if you don't win your conference tournament. That's kind of the way I see the Cajun schedule. They got to win 40 to 45 games to get an at-large berth because their schedule is not that great. This weekend is the exception. And it turns out that Texas State is in the same tournament. It used to be the Shriners, but now it's the Astros fundraiser. The Astros are putting it on. They are playing in Minute Maid Park. Again, the Cajuns and Texas State don't play each other. Texas State is actually playing bright and early this morning, if you will. They're taking on Houston at 11 a.m. All right. The Cajuns are playing right after that. They play Vanderbilt. And then the big matchup for the Cajuns will be on Saturday when they take on LSU, 7 p.m. All right. They're going to be their measuring stick. LSU is everyone's measuring stick, but that's a nice little rivalry that the Cajuns have with LSU. And regardless of what the Cajuns fans think, I think it's great that LSU plays them every year. Sometimes, it's even in Lafayette, sometimes in Baton Rouge, and here it's in Houston. Texas State is playing Texas, so they get their rivalry. That's cool. That's at 3 o'clock on Saturday. And then the Cajuns are playing Houston, kind of a tough one at 7:05. And Texas State gets LSU. I mean, any way you cut it, that is not an easy an easy tournament for either one of those teams, but it's certainly going to help out the schedule. So Texas State and the Cajuns each get Houston, each gets LSU. Texas State plays their rival in Texas. Cajuns play their rival in LSU. So that's a nice tournament. We'll see if anyone makes out better than the other. I'm hoping that the Cajuns can win 2 out of 3, but which 2? I mean, Houston and I don't know. Their starters, the first 2 starters did not pitch all that well Friday, Saturday. We'll see if they change up. I looked yesterday if they changed their rotation, and I had not seen them change the rotation. All right, let's see what else we have here. Old Dominion is hosting Charlotte. I don't think they're in good shape, right? Let's check out the standings. Let's check out the standings here. See who is off to a good start. Troy's off to a great start, 9-1. Arkansas State did lose earlier in the week. South Alabama, did they have a walk-off strikeout wild pitch? Are you serious? 3 runs in the bottom half of the 10th, and you win it on a strikeout wild pitch? Ouch. App State is 7-1. Coastal Carolina, 6-2. They've won 5 in a row. App State has won 6 in a row. Troy has won 7 in a row. James Madison, 5-3. They've won 4 in a row. Cajuns have won 2 in a row, right? They wrapped up their win against Rice. And then, nice story, Murphy Brooks pitched well on Wednesday against Northwestern State. Northwestern State's not that great, but nonetheless, this kid almost died and hasn't pitched a whole lot since his junior year in high school, and gave up a 2-run home run. But otherwise, I think he had like 4 or 5 strikeouts. Old Dominion, they're 5-3. They've won 2 in a row. Texas State, they won 2 in a row. ULM's won 2 in a row. Georgia Southern won their last ball game out. Georgia State 2-6. And we're going to see if we can turn things around in Marshall as their new ballpark is opening up. So we will talk about that next on Locked on Sunbelt. Let me tell you about FanDuel. Today's episode. Here we go. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Now I'm 2-0 betting the favorites with the Pelicans the last couple of games. I'm iffy about doing it tonight. They're the favorite. I think I'm gonna go with it. Here's the thing: when I bet, and I don't bet a lot of money, but because I'm betting the favorite, if I lose, down. Now, if I win, I'm only up a little bit. So, but we're seeing if we can just ride the favorites to small victories. All right, that's all I'm doing. We're going to probably take the Pelicans and see if they can bounce back. It's against the Pacers again. It's a home and home, but not back to back. They played Wednesday and now they're playing on tonight on Friday. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked on Sunbelt, your team every day. Big day for the Marshall Thundering Herd, right? They've been finally trying to open this ballpark. It looks like a gorgeous park, Jack Cook Field. It doesn't look like there's mountains in the background. It looks more like a hill than anything else. Could have had mountains in the. Well, not really, because I saw the overhead shot, and it's right by the river. So not that far away from the river if, that thing ever floods. But it does look like a really nice ballpark, and that's got to be such a major accomplishment. I know it was when the Cajuns finally finished their stadium, the Teague. When that got redone, I showed up here, and there was always talk, and then there was a whole big deal about it. I'm not going to get into that. But it took a little bit. Brian Maggard finished it up, and it's a really nice ballpark. It doesn't fill up nearly as much as one would think. They, Thought they announced the right attendance last Friday, about we'll round up to 4,000, but they announced more on Saturday and there was less. And Sunday does not draw. They start early around 1, and it's like a church family day, which is fine. But they announced well over 10,000, and they had probably closer to 7. So we'll see. Hopefully it helps out Marshall, and hopefully, I mean, obviously the big deal right now, let's see what the weather is going to be like. They do play at 3 o'clock. So Eastern time. Let's see what the weather is going to be like when they try to open up. And it's probably a good idea that they did it. That they planned for a day game, although it's chilly. Well, this morning it is 35 when we're recording this. It's getting up to 56, and there is a chance of rain after 3 p.m. Ouch. So we'll see what happens. You can't sit there and wait for it, but if the rain's coming and going to pass, so we'll see. They says there's a chance of rain. As of this recording, it looks like a pretty good chance of rain, but we'll see what happens. Well, maybe not. Seems to be dissipating a little bit. There's a line of storms coming, according to the radar. And maybe, it's one of those things happened a lot when I lived in Jacksonville and Harrisburg. When the storms hit the river, crazy stuff happens. So sometimes it goes over, sometimes it doesn't. But this feels like it's hitting Huntington and dissipating right as it gets to Huntington. So it doesn't looks like it's going to be fine. As someone who does not like cold weather, bring 2 pairs of socks. So congratulations, major accomplishment for Marshall. And they're bringing in, was this done on purpose? They're bringing in Miami of Ohio? So did I say that right? Oh, it's Manhattan. I'm sorry. Not Miami of Ohio. They got Manhattan. So the reason that's so odd is the logos are relatively the same. A big block M. In this case, the Herd has some black writing and the Manhattan Jaspers have white outline. So it is amazing that is quite the coincidence here. But congratulations to Marshall. Hopefully they get big crowds. Hopefully the weather does cooperate. It's a major sense of accomplishment. Like we see this all hard work. We consistently and constantly ask people for money, and here you go, right? Sometimes you don't see the money that you're donating to these programs, how it works, and then there's other times that you do. And, when these guys are playing out of town, like they played in Charleston, they played the Cajuns last year in Charleston. So it's got to be a big deal to them, to the players. I mean, I'm talking about the Cajuns playing a Sunday night game in Houston. That's a 3.5-hour ride. All right. Okay. So when are they in the bus? I'm presuming they're going to shower because they're in a major league ballpark. Games at 7 on Sunday. We'll say it. And they've been playing fast games, by the way, but we'll just say 3 hours for the heck of it. So 10 o'clock, they're in a bus at 11. It's a 3.5-hour ride. That's from the road. So they're going to get in at 2:30 and then have to go to class. Well, think about Marshall had to do that all, for the last few years with no park, right? Every game that they're playing on the road, they're not playing anywhere near campus. So good for them. It's a major sense of accomplishment, and I'm the players are going to appreciate playing in their own ballpark. Hopefully, the Herd fandom comes out and celebrates the new ballpark, despite getting off to a rough start here in 2024. Hopefully, the ballpark will give them some nice home field advantage. All right, so lots going on, including my Oswego State Great Lakers playing in the first round of the Division III basketball. So I think that's at 4. Cajuns are playing at 3. Texas State's playing at 11. Softball is at 5. Cajuns basketball has Southern Miss. That's what's left. You got, really 5 and 6. And then you have all those teams trying to avoid not to play on Tuesday. There's still a lot going on. We'll have it all covered. We will talk to you again on Monday All right, please, everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. You've been watching and listening to Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day,